guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Carrie. A few weeks ago, I made a video showing you how to make custom hats using a Cricut and the HTVRont Hat Heat Press. I have a fun little video planned for us today making more custom hats with leather patches. I wanted to make some custom hats using leather patches two different ways. One way I'm going to make it is by cutting out a design using heat transfer vinyl and pressing it onto the leather patch using my Hat Heat Press by HTVRont. For my second hat, I'm going to laser engrave the leather tag using my xTool M1 laser engraver. If you only have a Cricut machine, don't worry. You can make custom hats with a Cricut too. Just cut out your design on your Cricut with heat transfer vinyl and press it onto the hat. I decided to use my xTool M1 for this project because this machine is a 2-in-1 laser engraver and vinyl cutting machine, so I could kill two birds with one stone. I thought this would be a great project to showcase the xTool M1's different features and abilities. Custom hats make great gifts for just about anyone and are a great project to sell if you have a small business. Let's go over the materials that you'll need to make this project. I'll leave links to everything you need down below in my video description. You'll need either a vinyl cutting machine or a laser engraver. If you have the xTool M1, it does both of those things. For heat transfer vinyl, I'll be using black Siser EasyWeed heat transfer vinyl. These are the hats that I'm going to be using to make this project. They're Richardson original 112 trucker adjustable hats that I got on Amazon. This is the Hat Heat Press by HTVRont. Got little tabs on the side. You can open it up. And then the hat press is stored inside. It has a nice curved shape to it, which goes right around the hat. I bought two different types of leather patches on Amazon. I couldn't decide if I liked the round ones or the rectangular ones better, so I bought both. I'm glad I did because some designs work better on the round patches, like this real cool Papa design, and others work better on the rectangular patches, like this Dad design. You'll need some thermal tape to hold your design down onto the hat and also for holding your patch down in the laser. I'm using the new Hat Heat Press by HTVRont to press the patches onto the hat. I pressed at 315 degrees for 60 seconds. You'll need a standard grip mat to stick your vinyl to, a trimmer or scissors for cutting out the vinyl, and some basic weeding tools. One important tip to remember is to always mirror your image when working with HTV, whether you're using the xTool or a Cricut. Now let's move over to the computer and I'll show you where I get my favorite fonts and designs that I'll be using for this project. The first project we're going to start with is the laser engraved leather patch tutorial. First, we're going to go to Creative Fabrica and download the files that we want to use to make this hat. I'm going to be using this dad split SVG, and then I'm going to type out my children's names within it. For the font, I'm going to use a font called Hello Honey, also from Creative Fabrica. If you have their All Access subscription like I do, all you have to do is click the big green download button. If you don't have the All Access subscription, you can sign up for a free trial through the link down below in my video description. So I'm just going to click download. On my computer, it pops up in the upper right hand corner, but if you can't find the file, you can try looking in your downloads folder. There's three different types of fonts within this file that you need to download. So there's the Hello Honey, and then you're just going to click install. There's the Hello Honey tail, which gives you the little swash on the end. So make sure you install that one next. And then you want to install the connecting heart. The next thing that I'm going to download is the Dad Split SVG. So click download. Open the file, select Dad Split SVG, right click, and save it to your computer. Then click Save. Now we're going to go to the xTool software. You can either drag and drop your file into the software, or you can click on Image, select the file, and click Open. Next, I'm going to type out the names. The first name is going to be Sierra, so I'm going to click Text, and I'm going to type in capital S, and I'm going to change the font where it says Typeface to Hello Honey, but I'm going to use the tail. Then I'm going to make a new text box and type in IERR, and then I'm going to change the font to Hello and just the regular Hello Honey. Next, you want to weld the text together so you don't have these little slice marks in between the letters. So click Weld, and then we're going to make another text box for the A and type in Hello Honey. And this one is going to be the connecting heart. So drag this over. Next, we're going to make a text box, and we're going to type in lowercase letters BARRET and Hello Honey, the regular one. Line that up here and weld it. And then I'm going to do another lowercase t with the swash. Type in hello, and it's going to be the Hello Honey tail. Now we're going to highlight all of this and go up to Combine and Unite. So now this is all one big piece. And just drag this up here, shrink it down a hair. Next, we're going to highlight this whole thing and click Combine, Unite. Next, we have to turn on the laser and put our material in. Flip the switch on the back of your machine. We're going to place our leather tag right in the machine and then close the lid. Next, we're going to click the refresh button in the upper right-hand corner. Now we can see our leather tag right here, so we can drag our design and shrink it down. And rotate it. I think that looks pretty good. This leather patch doesn't really want to lay down flat in the laser, and I need it to be flat, so I'm going to take some thermal tape and just tape down the edges. Now I'm going to refresh my camera again and adjust the rotation so that it's nice and level. This is what makes it so nice about working with a machine with a camera, because you can see everything you need to. I might have never noticed that the leather tag wasn't laying flat if it wasn't for the camera. I noticed that when I was trying to make my dad design straight, that it looked thicker on the top and thinner on the bottom because the tag wasn't laying flat. The next thing that we need to do is select our material. I noticed that there's not a preset setting to cut leather, so we're going to have to do our own custom settings. So I want the machine to auto measure, so I'm going to click this little ruler right here. I noticed that I picked up a thickness of 0.005, which is way too thin for this leather tag. That's like the thickness of a sheet of paper. So I opened up my machine, and do you see this little red dot? I actually have to move my leather tag to be on that red dot because that's where it's going to measure the thickness. And now we're going to refresh the camera again. And now you can see our leather tag is in a different spot, so we have to move this down and then rotate it. Then we're going to click this little ruler again. So now the thickness is 0.054, so that seems about right. So now we're going to highlight this and click on Engrave. I'm going to change the power to 80 and change the speed to 100 and change the lines per centimeter to 180. Now I'm going to click the process button on the bottom and then click start in the upper right hand corner. Next, we're going to push the start button on the xTool machine. Look how cute this is going to be. It's pretty common when laser engraving to get some smokiness around your design, especially if you don't have an air assist with your machine. So one way that I like to get rid of the smokiness is with vinegar. I'm just going to put a little bit of it on a paper towel and gently rub the patch. You can definitely see some of the smokiness coming off on the paper. Before we heat press the patch on, I'm going to show you how to make our second hat with heat transfer vinyl. Once we finish that, we will heat press both hats at the end. I'm going to download the file by clicking the big green download button, double click, select the SVG, right click, and save it to your computer. I'm going to put my patch into the machine so I can figure out the sizing because I need to cut out a piece of heat transfer vinyl that's about the same size as this patch. Refresh the camera. Now we're going to upload our image by clicking Image. Select your file and open it. Then we're going to shrink this down and drag it over the patch. We can see exactly how our design will look. Since we're working with a heat transfer vinyl, we need to mirror our image. So highlight the whole thing and click Reflect and reflect horizontally. Now we need to figure out the size of our design so we know how big to cut it. Up here we see the size in inches. It's 2 inches by 1.682. I'm just going to cut out my vinyl to be 2.5 by 2.5 because that's how big these patches are. And I like to have some extra vinyl on the side so I can make sure it cuts out all the way. So now we're going to go cut out our piece of vinyl. This is the heat transfer vinyl I'm using. It's Siser EasyWeed Heat Transfer Vinyl. It's one of my favorites. Now we can stick this to the mat and put it in the xTool. This mat is double-sided, so we want to take off the protective cover on the side that has the grid lines. And you want to place your heat transfer vinyl shiny side down. Then we're going to remove the protective backing off the back side, which is also sticky, and this gets stuck to the bottom of the machine. So now we can take out the patch because we're not laser engraving. Slide this in and press it down. You can see it's the perfect size. Now we're going to refresh and drag our design over the vinyl. This is why I cut it a little bit bigger because I like to have a little bit of space around. Now I'm going to click off of the design, and you want to make sure this is set to blade cut. If you previously lasered, it will probably say laser flat or laser cylindrical, depending on what you did before. So just make sure it's set to blade cut, and you want to select your material. I'm going to be using this PU HTV vinyl. Now you're going to highlight everything. Everything looks good here. It's all set to the preset settings based on the material I chose, which was that PU HTV. It's going to cut it out. The pressure and the speed is good. So now all I have to do is click process. And then click start. Looks pretty good. Now we can weed our project. Weeding is where we remove the excess vinyl until we're left with the design that we want to put on our hat. Great. Now we have our two different patches, our one that's been laser engraved and our one that we're doing with heat transfer vinyl. I'm going to turn on the hat press by HTVRont and press these onto these hats. This is the hat heat press by HTVRont. It has little tabs on the side that we can open up. And then you take this part off. And this is the mold that we're going to use to heat press with. And then this is the heat press itself. It has a nice curved shape to it for heat pressing hats. So this goes on here and we're going to plug it into the wall. Press the power button. Right now it's set to 315 degrees. Now I'm going to show you how to put the hat onto the mold. So you want to make your hat face upwards and just slide it underneath like this. And that's what it's going to look like. So we're going to take our patch and put it just like that. Before we heat press the patch on, you're going to want to grab some thermal tape and tape it into place so that way it doesn't slide around when you're trying to heat press it. I want to heat press it for 60 seconds, so I'm going to click on the settings, press it again to get to the time, and then we're going to raise it to 60 seconds. And press and hold for 2 seconds, and the countdown begins. This came out so cute. I will definitely be trying to sell hats like these for Father's Day. On to the next hat. Grab some thermal tape, tape down your design. The tape doesn't work very well, so just try to hold it down as best as you can and place your Teflon sheet over it. And press and hold for 2 seconds, and the countdown begins. And there you have it. 2 custom hats made, one with the laser engraver and one with heat transfer vinyl, both that I was able to do with the xTool M1. I think that these hats came out so nice. I prefer to use the laser engraver just because it's easier and requires less steps and materials. With heat transfer vinyl, you have the added cost of buying the vinyl and mats, plus extra steps of cutting and weeding the vinyl. With the laser engraver, all you have to do is put the patch in the machine and press start. I can't wait to give this real cool Papa hat to my stepdad for his birthday coming up. And here's my handsome husband rocking his new dad hat. If you guys enjoyed this video, I would love it if you gave us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any of our new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.